Hi, how's it going?
Hi, it's going well. How about with you?
Going very well. Also, such a relief that this is just audio because, it's hard to hold the exact same position for a whole Zoom meeting when you only have one good angle.
Who told you it was audio? We're doing video.
Oh my
I'm
God.
just kidding. I'm just messing. I'm just messing.
Uh,
Well, welcome to Mess with People podcast. I am the mess man. No, it's audio. To me, it just on a logistics level, it's a lot easier to work with because there's less data, less lag, stuff like that.
oh, for sure, for sure.
But yeah, no, and I always feel bad because I would hate for people to, get all pretty and stuff, and it's just audio, and then,
Oh yeah, like
well,
we didn't get in. I have a podcast too. Like we didn't get into the podcast game because we look
well, no, that's
I'll
true.
speak
Yeah,
for myself. I'll speak for myself.
no, no, it's true. Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two, the podcast, as always, hosted by me, Chris. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 389. 89. I feel like I didn't say 89, but 89, 389. Man, that was a fast July. 2020 is just rolling, and oh my gosh, there's been no hiccup. It's been crazy. A smooth year so far. Um, if you couldn't tell, I was laying on the sarcasm pretty thick. Um, but yeah, July's over. July's gone. I feel like July just started, and why am Chris? Why are you wasting time? I shouldn't waste time. Even though the podcast month is coming to an end, that doesn't mean that we're not going out with a great episode. They're all great episodes, really, but this one is especially great. Sophie Buddle is on the podcast. She is a wonderful stand-up comedian, podcast host herself, uh, sketch writer. All she does everything. She's a very funny person. She has a comedy album out right now called A Bit of Buddle, because Sophie Buddle, that's her last name. And I was intimidated to talk to her because she's a 2020 Juno Award winner for Best Comedy Album. And if you don't know what the Juno Awards are, then you need to go live in Canada. But also, we talk about it because But no, just such a fun chat, such a fun person, and you know, uh, I can't say enough good things about this episode. So I'm actually going to stop talking because so we can actually get into this episode. All right. But that's it for me. Sit back, relax, and Sophie, take it away. When was the last time you wore like actual clothing, not like around the house clothing?
Wow, that's a good question. Certainly I haven't even looked at jeans in like
Yeah,
5 months.
yeah,
I've had a couple Zoom meetings with video where I've also still not worn jeans, but I'll throw on like a blouse.
yeah, yeah. Why not?
Yeah, but I think that that's one of the things that's going to be forever changed. Like
Yeah,
people are going to, because there was already kind of like, with the trend with athleisure wear all the time, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think it's just going to go full comfort. I don't think that people are going to wear suits again.
Right, right, right. I mean, and I don't mind wearing, a suit and tie, but definitely Friday was the first time I had worn like even shoes with socks. I'm like,
What was the special occasion?
I just uh, laundry. I'll be honest. I needed to do laundry, and I was just like, well, the only thing I have is like a button up shirt, and I can't wear sandals with that because it would just look funny. So I guess I got to break out the socks and shoes and yeah.
Yeah, laundry, but make it fashion.
Exactly, exactly. I only had my good stuff. Usually it's the other way around, but yeah, no, it's like, well, all right.
Well,
But
my condolences to you.
you know what? Thank you. It's been a rough week since that day.
I know
And
Corona's really happening to you.
yes, just me.
Yeah.
How being in the situation that we're all in, have you noticed that your creativity or even like your writing has gone up?
Well, yeah. So it seems to be a pretty big divide among creative people as to
Hmm.
whether or not this is a creative time or not.
Right.
And I don't think there's shame on either side. Like obviously all of us say, oh, if I had nothing but time, of course I would do all my writing and work on all the projects I wanted to do.
Right.
And I kind of did. Like it's been truly so many months in quarantine that even I've finished some work that I wanted to do.
Hmm.
Like I was outlining my pilot for like a year, and then once you worked on the outline for that long, writing it itself is not that hard. So
Yeah.
I did write it, and that's technically I get to be like, oh yeah, I finished my pilot during quarantine. But even it was just like 2 days, and I feel like we should all be writing novels.
Right, right. Well, and it's funny because, of course, the amount of podcasts that started popping up.
Yeah.
Um, I was just like, oh, that's awesome. Um, and I for sure. And then, of course, all the media being consumed and all that, which there is a ton of media, but I feel like after a certain point, we're gonna run out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, is this podcast weekly?
Yes, it is weekly.
Did you think of upping it or anything during quarantine? Like, or how's your creativity been feeling?
Oh man, it's I mean I have ideas, but already I was just like I struggle with motivation issues.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. Like that motivation is absolutely everything. I literally bought a book about how to self-motivate better.
Mm,
And it's almost a joke that I like couldn't finish the book.
yeah.
Like it's so embarrassing. And like my mantra for like this whole quarantine has kind of just been it's better to do something than to do nothing.
Right.
Because I think of like a big thing motivation wise for me is like, okay, well if I write it and then it's bad, then it's like it's almost better to have not written it because it's like, oh, would be good if I could just finish it.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to just focus on like doing literally anything because even if it's bad, then you don't have to show anybody. It's just like good to practice writing like
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. But yeah, it's for the podcast has always been once a week. Every once in a while I'll do two or just for special occasions.
Yeah.
This
Like laundry
month,
day or something.
yeah, laundry day. You know what? I gotta
Yeah.
wash clothes. Let's throw some episodes up. No,
Yeah, I got some thoughts on it.
the July though is a special month because it's the birthday of the podcast, and
Oh, okay.
that's
Happy birthday.
oh, thank you, thank you. And it's usually when I go all out, I'll release 3 to 5 episodes a week.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
yeah, not this year though, because it's just
No.
been I don't know, it's just been a weird year, and I feel like I don't have to explain.
No,
Uh,
no. Well,
but
you're in the States too, I assume, right?
uh huh, correct.
Yeah. Well, I'm in Canada, so it's
Hmm.
like it is a little bit different here because our leader is taking it seriously. Like he's like trying to stop it. So our
What do you
numbers.
mean? What does this mean? Stop. I don't know. What is this
Yeah.
leader you speak of? First of all.
Yeah, it's just so awkward because like I feel bad for all my American friends because it just really seems like everything's burning down there. Like I look at like the numbers in the states
Yeah.
and it like really stresses me out. And
Yeah.
the Canadian American border is closed, so
Right.
we can go down there, but Americans, well, actually, Americans can come to Canada, but you have to self quarantine for 14 days, and the RCMP, like our big police force, will come and check on you to make
Mm.
sure you're self quarantining, and it's just like, well, I just don't know what's gonna happen. Like yesterday, my boyfriend and I were talking about it, and we were like, what? And also, what's gonna happen to the economy? And then we were like,
Right.
and then also, what is the economy? Because we're a couple steps behind. So then we watched a bunch of videos to find out both what the economy is and how it's going to be affected.
Hmm.
And it seems like just poor countries are just going to kind of be fucked after this because
Right.
I figured everyone in the world is affected by it. So everyone's going to kind of take the same amount of damage. So basically everything's going to be the same, just a little bit worse everywhere.
Hmm.
But the places that can't put money into stopping it and recovering are going to it's going to be irreparable damage.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So like, yeah, go ahead.
No. You go.
Oh no, I don't really have anything else. It's just, I just don't know what the world's going to do because this is like truly one of the most historic things that's ever happened in our lifetime. Like second only to like 9/11.
Right. And this is one of those things where it's going to be felt for years and years. You
Well,
said,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's going to affect our kids' economy too,
yeah,
which like, I still don't fully understand what the economy is, but it just doesn't look good for the future.
right. And I am, unfortunately, I live in Texas where,
Oh,
you
there's a
know,
huge outbreak in Texas. I was just looking at the map.
oh my, so I mean, I'm originally from the West Coast. I'm a West Coast kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Me too. I'm Vancouver in Canada.
we'll get into Vancouver then in a little bit, but when our the dumb governor came on the TV with his dumb face and was like all smiling and happy that the they got the curve they flattened the curve, and he's
Right.
like, yay, let's start opening because everything's fine. And it's just like, why it's fine, right? Because we're not doing any, we're staying
Yeah,
indoors.
exactly. Yeah.
And it just, all that logic just went out the door. And I was just, what
Well,
is
are people in Texas taking it seriously? Like, are they wearing masks? Do they think it's real? Like, what's the vibe there?
so I mean, as far me personally, I don't really leave the house.
Yeah.
I left the house for like an hour a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it was a
Mm-hmm.
month ago. I don't know what day it is.
Yeah.
And it was fine. And the only places I go to are places that are mandating masks. So
Yeah.
if you don't have a mask, you can't get in. So me, it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, at least when the opening first started, though, I went to like the corner drugstore just to get some snacks because I was hungry.
Yeah.
And there were, I want to say, 5 people that were in the drugstore. 2 of them, me included in the 2, was wearing a mask. The other 3 weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh Lord, okay.
Well, is
And
it like a political stance, or do they just not think it's real? Like, I can't understand. Well, because it's obviously like Donald Trump just like
yeah,
thinks it's over, or doesn't care, or like. So I like,
it's
yeah,
yeah. Honestly, it's both. It's both of those things. People think it's a conspiracy theory, or they think that their freedom is being taken away because they have to
mm-hmm.
wear a 2-layer mask.
I know.
And
Last night, my boyfriend and I were hanging out with his friends, and they were joking about that, about how like, oh, the government wants to control us by wearing
yeah,
masks, and then I'm like, yeah, what's next? They're gonna make us wear a burqa, and
right.
that's exactly the energy it's bringing. Like, it's so weird to be defiant against your own safety.
Right, right. And that's, at the end of the day, it's just like, I see my parents. I have young a niece and nephew that I see
Yeah.
regularly. It's like, why wouldn't I wear a mask,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It feels so intuitive. The only problem for me is like, I love a conspiracy theory.
mm,
I am very distrustful of government.
mm,
I love that energy from people. I just
yeah,
wish it was directed at something that wasn't going to kill so many people. Like just
right.
get involved in like aliens or something that's
Right.
at like lower risk.
Right. Or like, Bigfoot is really in charge of,
Yeah.
like some
Yeah,
like
I just wish they would spend their energy, being suspicious of stuff like that and just
right.
believe scientists.
Right. No, and it's just, and again, it starts at the top, and poor leadership. It's
Yeah.
this is what we get. So,
Well, yeah, like our prime minister Justin Trudeau
yep.
is like taking it super seriously.
Yep.
This is the kind of thing that he would take seriously. He's very liberal, and he keeps doing this like press conferences, like all the leaders,
Hmm.
and he's trying really hard to show because the big thing is like, oh, people really want to go get their hair cut, so he's like
Right.
growing his hair out so he looks all shaggy, but you can tell that he is getting his hair cut. He's just asking for like a shaggier look.
Yo,
But
cut my
it's
hair, but just give me the shag.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. It's like let's keep it quarantined but tighten it up a little.
so yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm afraid to, get my hair cut. So I just haven't gotten it cut, and I'm starting to look like Antonio Banderas, and I'm fine. I'm totally fine with that. I'm like, hey, all right, all right.
Hey, Zorro was like my favorite movie growing up.
See, there you go,
Yeah.
there you go.
Mhm.
So where are you currently now in Canada?
So right now I'm in Hamilton, which is like right next to Toronto
Oh, okay.
because, don't tell anybody, but I've been flying and visiting people because
How dare you?
I know it's so bad, but flights are really cheap right now and
Right.
literally nobody else is flying. So like especially not people that have any kind of symptoms. Like they check your temperature a bunch of times. You have to answer all these questions like symptom wise. And Canadian flights are like really expensive because we only really
Hmm.
have like two airlines, so they have a monopoly. So it's like, and it's like a big country, so usually flights are so unreasonable. But right now they're super low and there's nobody on the flights. So I've done a couple visits and I took a video at the airport in Montreal, which is like one of our bigger airports, and there was
Hmm.
literally no one around. Like I was literally the only person at the airport. And the French people at the store were still rude to me somehow. And it's like, it's not like you're swamped. So rude. I hate
Meh. Meh.
them. Yeah.
So.
So now I'm in Hamilton visiting my boyfriend's family,
Hmm.
and they're in kind of like a small town near here. So there's like, zero cases. So
Hmm.
it's pretty chill. And then we're going to drive, my boyfriend and I are going to drive to Ottawa this weekend to go see my family, who it's like the cases are like really going up. Like it was almost all of the cases in Canada were going down as of a couple days ago. And
Hmm.
then today there's this huge spike. And it's like, of course, it's because stuff is starting to open up, but it's like,
Right.
it doesn't make sense to close stuff down unless you're going to close it until it's under control and then open it back up because
Correct. Yeah.
it's going to fuck us over even more if we have to do it again.
No, and I mean that's where Texas is at. Is that they closed everything down, and now everything's back open. The non-essential places are opening up, and
Yeah.
it's just like, well, we can't close them down again because we just we just did that. So what do we do? And it's just like, oh,
I know I've been monitoring the vaccines though, and I found
yeah,
this really good website that has like all these different colors. So what like one of the colors is like they're still developing the vaccine, and one
right,
color is like they're doing animal testing, and another one is human testing but only 10 people, and then the next one is human testing for 50 plus people. And there's like so many dots of all of the colors. Like it seems like everyone is working really hard to get a vaccine, which is, the solution probably to all of this.
hmm,
But the same people who don't believe in masks are the anti-vaxxers that would probably not get that done.
right.
So, it seems like we've been talking about overpopulation in the world for a really long time, and
Mhm.
it seems like it's about to get skimmed out pretty hard.
That I mean, I'd be lying if I said that wasn't one of the things that I thought of. Like, well, I mean, it's and I don't the one of the things that has been very stressing me out, and I'm going to bring it down for a little bit, is just the loss of human life and how everyone is just kind of hey, we lost 200,000. At least it wasn't 300,000, right? And I'm
Yeah,
just like, but there's still people that are dying. Like,
yeah,
why are you saying that? And that's when I lost it. I was just,
yeah. That's really frustrating. And I mean, but it is like it's the leadership. Like
yeah,
that's like people are saying because like the United States is like the epicenter of it right now, and
yeah,
Donald Trump is like bragging
yeah.
somehow. Like the fact that he can brag about anything right now is like shocks me. But so,
He's a true psychopath, and
yeah, I
and
guess
yeah,
that's just like the key to all of it. It's just that he's a psychopath. Do you
yeah.
think that he could win again? I love asking Americans about this because like from up here, we thought there was like quite literally no chance he would win in the first place.
Right,
But
right.
well, so is it like, do you think there's any chance he could win again? Like it seems like his only strategy against Joe Biden is to kind of turn him into Hillary Clinton and just be like,
But
he's
but
establishment.
but her emails.
Well,
You
yeah, and it's like I don't know if that'll work again because I don't really understand how it worked in the first place. Like I know that she
right,
is a particularly polarizing figure,
correct.
so I don't know if because like Joe Biden to me is like just as establishment as her, but is
Right,
not a woman, so there's like the woman thing that's not there, and then the ties to like Bill Clinton
right.
is not there. But like, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I was wrong before when I was like, oh, that all those sexual harassment comments he made. Oh, he's done for sure, and yet he kept going, and I was just and I thought
Well,
I thought he was going to lose in the first place, and nope, and I was just, what is going on here?
Well, yeah, like I was pretty passionate. Like I was like very into Bernie Sanders, and I
Yes,
was
yeah,
I was in the first place too, like pretty hardcore Bernie bro. And then I also have like a policy with myself that I just like am not going to support any politician that has sexual harassment stuff that I think is true. And
right,
I think like the Joe Biden stuff is true, even if it's not as bad as the stuff Donald Trump I think did.
right,
Like I still just don't want to support anyone that has like problematic tendencies with women.
right,
But then it's like it's such a moral dilemma because it's like, do you want someone that is then worse to win? And this is something, and like I'm not an American citizen, like I can't vote, but like it feels like it's a really tricky situation because
right,
Bernie Sanders has put me at least in a position where I'm like, well, I only would want to vote for someone that inspires me and that
correct.
I think is empathetic and sincere. But
Hmm.
then you're now stuck with two people that are, have done these bad things to women, which I could never support either.
Hmm.
So so yeah, I don't know. Like Bernie Sanders has almost ruined politics for me because it's like you can see someone that seems to really care about people and has had the same message since he was a young man.
Right.
Like it's like I don't know how to go back from that.
And and I'm a Bernie supporter, and I like what he's trying to do. My only thing about Bernie is that he wants real change, and that's of course that's going to scare everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I think that's why he never gets the nomination. But you know the supporting somebody who has had allegations against them. Um, I completely agree with you. I don't want to support either, but I feel like, and I'm going to talk the American people, not me.
Yeah.
I feel like that's gone out the window when Trump got elected in
Yeah.
general, because everyone was like, "Hey, he's fine, whatever." Or what they say, it was locker room talk, And
Yeah.
I was just like, what is wrong with you people?
Well, that's the thing though. It's like without Donald Trump, like without the person in the highest position of power, pretty openly not caring about making
Right,
women feel comfortable, that's what sparked the Me Too movement, which is like the
right,
biggest change we've seen in modern feminism. So, like, I think literally that's the only thing I think about in what good Trump has brought, because like people like to talk about like, oh, he does good things for the economy, but that doesn't really affect me. And also now the economy is fucked anyway, so
right,
that's
right.
out the window. But
I
yeah, but he basically started the Me Too movement.
Right. And it was funny because I have a friend who he's not a Trump supporter, but he's just like, I'm not a fan of the media. And I go, okay, why? Because I feel like if Trump were to do something right, they wouldn't report on it. And I was just like, when has he done something right? Well, he hasn't, but I feel like if he did, they would report it. They wouldn't report it. And I was just like, did you just listen to yourself, man? Even
Well, this is like another problem though. It's like the media in every country is biased. And so
Mhm.
when Trump comes out and says, the fake news hates me, blah, 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 it's like he's not wrong. He's just also not doing anything right.
Right.
But it's like it's the things that he says that are true that are the things that kind of fuel his base. Because
Right.
if he's like, okay, the media is fake and Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden are establishment, those things are technically true, but
Yeah.
that doesn't make the other things he's saying true, and it doesn't mean that he's also not using those things to his advantage.
Right.
Like Fox News is obviously biased, like right up his ass, and doesn't talk
Right.
about how they're biased at all.
I saw a graph of, trusted news outlets that,
Oh, I
they
saw that too. That was so good.
yeah, and it made sense to me that, oh yeah, your local news is, the most helpful news you can do because they just report it.
Yeah.
They're not sitting there telling you, oh, it's like this is what's going on, figure it out yourselves. Moving on to
Yeah.
weather.
Yeah, draw your own conclusions. It's gonna rain.
Right. And I think that's honestly the more news that we need. It's just this is it. Figure it out. See you guys later. I don't get paid enough for this shit.
Well, yeah, but people love to read opinion pieces and then
Right.
claim that as their own opinions. Like people love
Well,
being
of
given
course, yes.
opinions.
Yes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But and I don't normally go political on this podcast because I feel like I'm gonna piss somebody off. But I
I
don't
mean, you're in
care.
Texas too. You can edit out most of this if you
I'm
want.
not editing. I'm gonna add more politic talk to it, if anything.
Well, I'm
Uh,
obsessed with it. Like my podcast is called Obsessed, and like
hmm
I just have people on and talk about stuff we're obsessed with.
Yeah.
And obviously, like we're at about a year now, so I've had to, there's been a couple of times where I'm like, yet again, I'm obsessed with comedy. Like it
Right.
gets old sometimes. But one thing that I've been obsessed with since high school is American politics, because
hmm
it's so like there's so much money behind it that it's so
Right.
entertaining. There's money behind the news outlets, there's money behind the politicians, like there's just anything where there's that much money behind it, like people are so attracted to power and
Right.
money. Like of course it's going to be interesting. And I think people that even disagree politically can all enjoy the show.
hmm
Yeah.
I agree, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I don't know. It's so funny because yeah, you know, like power and money have never really been my thing. Like I don't if Trump or somebody else were to walk in, I would treat them different. It's like okay, he's whatever, he's a guy. Who cares? I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Mhm.
Not you, Trump. But it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like does I gotta wonder what kind of hole they're trying to fill by wanting all that power. It's like, were
Well,
you
for Trump,
obviously, yeah,
I think it's just I think he's a person who's never experienced love. Like I think he's
correct,
truly a person who never in his life has been loved. And
correct,
stuff like that, it always stems from their parents. Like
yeah,
everybody's deep trauma like that comes from their parents. And clearly his mom and dad didn't pay any attention to him, shipped him off to boarding school. Everyone around him, because he's always been so rich, has been trying to get something from him. So you can't create a real relationship if there's not that trust, because it's fair to assume people are trying to get something from you. And then now his kids are all like doing the succession thing, trying to get all his money and business. So they don't love him truly. You know, all of his wives seem kind of gold diggery, which, like, you know, respect to that, but they probably don't love him. Like,
and what are you telling me? Melania's not happy. I draw the line here.
Yeah,
I see all the photos of her smiling with him.
I know those eyes are full of love, and you can see that. It speaks for itself. But it's like, it's just like, I think the first time he's felt loved is from his 30% of the American population base.
Yeah.
The evangelicals that think he's going to bring on the apocalypse and love that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that this is his chance for love in his mind, and that's what keeps him going.
Yeah, and it would make sense why he does all the rallies. Like, he was doing rallies when he was, you know, already elected, and it's just like, why is he doing them? Because he wants people to cheer for him.
Yeah, he wants people to love him. It's so sad.
It's so sad, but you know,
And do you remember someone? I think it was Trump that said, like, nobody likes Bernie Sanders, or no, it was Hillary Clinton said nobody likes Bernie Sanders, and then he was like, my wife likes me. Like, that's someone that has deep love in his life to say that.
My wife. Cut to the wife, and she's just on her phone.
Oh no, it's so cute. You know, Jane loves him. You know, they still fuck too. You can tell.
Wait, who?
Bernie Sanders and Jane.
Oh, Bernie. Oh yeah, I thought you meant. Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Oh yeah. They get it on for sure.
They fuck hard. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Super.
Bernie loves his curvy wife.
So where do you live when you're not? Is it Vancouver?
Yeah, I live in Vancouver.
Oh, okay. I went to school in Victoria.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Victoria has a great comedy scene as well.
Do they?
Yeah, great comedy scene.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, no, I went to film school down there. So I have a huge love and appreciation towards Canada in general.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's like one of the prettiest parts of Canada too.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, does it really snow there? Like, it doesn't snow at all in Vancouver, but the island is a little bit more erratic with weather.
So, yeah, it snows there. I remember I was traveling during the holiday time. When was this? 2008, 2009, when there was this huge just snowstorm, and I was stuck in Seattle because to get to, you know, where I was going, I had to stop in Seattle, and we got snowed out.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, and it snowed there, so yeah. I'm surprised Vancouver doesn't get snow though.
Well, I thought that it was the only city in Canada that doesn't snow, but I figured maybe on the island too because it's so close.
Oh, okay.
But I love Victoria so much; it's so pretty. And like, if I ever quit comedy and just wanted to chill, I think I'd move to Victoria because it's like,
oh my gosh, yeah,
perfect size city, lots of nature.
There's so many islands around it that you could just find an island and just be like, this is my land.
Yeah, they're selling islands too. I just saw this, like, you know, those news articles that are like, buy a place in Italy for $1. They're doing that with islands and like on the Gulf Islands now in BC.
Yeah.
Because they just want people to go there and like develop a house and start a business or something.
Right. Yeah, I think that is the perfect kind of setting. I'm not a huge beach guy, but you know, the beaches there, they're all rocky, and you know, of course, there's all the trees. So I'm like, yeah, this is where I would want to just chill out for the rest of my days.
Is Texas like very deserty? I've never been there.
So yeah, Texas is very deserty for sure, but it's also very rocky. There's tons of mountains and. You know,
I imagine it's similar to Mexico because it's so close.
Yeah, I would say, but yeah, after a certain point, Mexico just does get a little bit flatter.
Okay.
And in certain parts of Texas, there is a coast, which you don't want to go in because, of course, it's all. I think there's E. coli in the water, or
Ooh,
some.
okay.
Yeah, you'll come back and your skin will start glowing. I don't know.
Yeah, we have a lot of lakes like that
Yeah.
in Canada too. That people are like, "You do not go in here. You will grow a tail." And everyone's like, "Will I though?" Like people still do it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Um, but what was it that attracted you to comedy? First of all.
Well, I started when I was 15, and I
Hmm.
was like, I was into drama and acting and writing, and my mom won tickets. My mom's a teacher. She won tickets at her in like the teachers lounge to go to the comedy club in the place I grew up.
Hmm.
And we started going there just kind of as like a little mother-daughter date. And we would always go to amateur night, which is
Mm.
like pretty fun because the pros come in and they're really good, but a lot of people bomb. So it's also not intimidating because you see all these people bomb and you're like, I could bomb. And
I could
they're
do
cool.
that.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
So after going for like quite a while, just to watch and kind of get to know the staff and everything, and I was like, can I just do it? And they were like, don't see why not. And it's like it's known to be a really good club. Like the crowds are always really hot. I always just figure they overpour their drinks because it's like known as an easy club.
Hmm.
And so my first set went really well because everyone was all drunk, and all you really need is one. Like all you really need is
Right. Yeah.
one show to go well, and then you know like Trump, like you feel that love, and you're like, oh, this is
I
better than
should
bad
run
being
for
around.
president.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's just I think it's also like there wasn't a lot going on, and I'm from Ottawa, and there's not a ton going on there. So, I was on the soccer team, and I did comedy, and that kind of
Mm.
does something to fill up your time. And then when I turned 18 and finished high school, I moved to Vancouver, and the scene in Vancouver is like incredible.
Hmm.
So I was there. I was going to fashion school for like a hot minute, dropped out right away, started working at Starbucks for many years after that, and was doing comedy. And I don't know, it's just great. Like I'm someone that has some issues with authority figures. So
Mm.
this is like one of the jobs where you don't have a boss.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
true.
even the few scenarios where like a club owner or something tries to like tell you something, I become very defensive and confrontational. So it's good that I don't have a regular job. It's just out of necessity, basically, I think.
Right. No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, how did
Um.
you start comedy?
Oh, I didn't. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm in comedy.
No,
No, I just say dumb shit.
that's what comedy is.
Nah, yeah. I was visiting my friend in Madison, Wisconsin, and one of the things I told myself I wanted to do open mic, because it just looks like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at, I think I went on around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and I only told a couple
That's
of
the prime
jokes.
time. That's the prime
Oh,
time.
prime time,
That's when
prime
you that's
time.
when you want to get
That's the comedy hour, they say, apparently.
up.
Um, but I went up and I just like, look, I just want to do a couple of jokes, and I did, and I got a couple I didn't do bad. I got laughs, and I was just like, oh, this is fun. But I've never done it again. I don't know why. It was fun. The idea of blowing it um, doesn't really bother me.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell actors, like, I wish I could do auditions, but I could see myself getting really pissed off if I got a role, because I'm just like,
Yeah.
I just want to go in there and just see what it's about.
Yeah, I really like doing auditions. I'm so bad at acting. It's crazy. But like it's truly I have like only my exact voice and vibe that I can do. But
Hmm.
now that I have like American management and stuff, they put me up for all these acting things, and I'm like, sure, like it just feels like there's a lot of people signing off on the fact that I'm an actor now. And
Yeah.
that's all really you need. You just need, if other people say you're an actor, you just are.
Right.
So I just like, they just sent me one that's like for this movie that's based in like the 1920s in New Jersey or something. And I was like, started reading the lines out loud, and I was like, this is not what they're going for.
What?
Like, it sounded like Miss Maisel or something. Like, it sounded so crazy.
But it also probably helps that you can be like, I'm an award winner, so you should just give me this role, please.
Well, that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Like how many things do you have to do until someone just writes something for you? That's what I'm waiting for.
and I was thinking about this. It sucks that we're in the situation we're in, because you can't walk around and be like, award winner, out of my way.
I know. Well, this is the first award I've ever won in my whole life. And I ordered, we get like trophies, and I ordered an extra trophy for my mom. Aww. And well, yeah, and she already is like, can't wait to just leave it out when company comes over, like on the couch, like, oh, sorry, I forgot to clean up. Because like in comedy, there's not a ton of opportunities to get trophies in comedy. So it's pretty sick to have some hardware, And then her best friend's kids are both like certified geniuses, doing their PhD in something that I haven't even heard of,
Yeah.
And so now she's been trying to alpha him, like their dad, and being like, oh, where's your trophy? And he's like, well, my kids are just not delayed mentally. And she's like, well, tell that to my trophy.
Right. Trophy.
Yeah.
She's gonna change that into a necklace and just wear it around.
Yeah, it's just nice for your parents. But that's another thing. It's like, this was kind of my big chance to walk the red carpet, and the Junos got canceled, and it was like really dramatic. I was like in line boarding the plane to go to the Juno Awards, and this was like right at the beginning of Corona. And I got a text from someone that I had been dealing with. It was like, don't get on the plane. And it was like I was about to get on the plane. I was like, this is the most dramatic text I've ever gotten, and I love it. And like they went on and took my baggage off, and made the flight delayed. And I was like, okay, like really, this is just not happening for me. And then I figured they were not going to announce winners. So I was kind of glad, because I really didn't think I was going to win. So I was really milking the nomination, and I was doing a lot of like, oh, I would have won.
Right.
And then they were like, we're gonna do a virtual thing, and I was like, oh, I'm sick. Good.
It'd be funny if you were still walking around saying you would have won. It's like, but you did. Wow.
Yeah, and it's like, but also I would have.
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
So I was looking at to the list of winners. And the first one that popped up was Avril Lavigne, and I was like, did she just get the Canadian award? Like, why? What?
We always do that. Like, there's always just like awards for Avril Lavigne and Justin Bieber and Drake.
Chad Kroeger.
Of course, Chad Kroeger. Like, they always just like do a couple of those randoms, basically just to remind everyone that they're Canadian.
Right. Which I think Avril only dates Canadians anyway, right?
Well, she's a patriot. You gotta.
That's true. I'm sorry, Trudeau.
We gotta keep the blood pure. She's only Canadian.
There we go.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something earlier that I'd like to touch on a little bit, because I'm interested. You mentioned that sometimes you fall out of love with comedy, or you get bored with it, or how do you keep it fresh for you?
Well, I try to talk about stuff that I care about, because I always care about something, and I find the only time comedy really gets stale is if I find my set stale, and the audience picks up on that too. So you at a certain point you develop this set, and it works like pretty consistently, and you don't really have to worry about it. But then you're not really saying the things that you're saying. You're just kind of on autopilot, and you have to keep it exciting for yourself by talking about stuff that's exciting to you. So, if you're feeling bored with comedy, you're probably feeling bored with your jokes. So just write something new. And like, even if it's bad, at least you get that like nervous energy before your set, because it might go bad. And then
Right.
you fall back in love with it, because like you don't want to be bored with what you're doing. Like, comedy is exciting. It's performing. You don't know how it's going to go. Like, even the biggest comics in the world bomb sometimes. So
Right.
you don't want to be like just chill. Like, you want to feel something.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I'm dead inside. Let's go do comedy.
Yeah. And then that's like, I mean, another thing is like, you just get depressed and then you don't care about anything. And that's
Right.
a different issue. But yeah, you just like, I mean, I'm someone that always cares about something.
Hmm.
So if I'm bored with comedy, I just am not talking about the things that I'm thinking about.
Gotcha. Okay. And have you, looking back at some of your earlier writing, is there ever a point that you look at it and was like, I don't know who this person was. I don't relate to this
Oh,
girl. I don't.
that's how I feel about my album. I hate my album.
Oh,
And,
you mean
and it's just,
the 2020 Juno Award winning album?
yeah, I hate it. It's so
Okay.
bad. And it's not even that it's bad. It's just like, I don't feel like it's me anymore.
Ah, yeah.
Because it's like, it came out this past year, but I recorded it the year before that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I kind of wanted to do it because I had hit 10 years in comedy and I had all these jokes that I had done nothing with.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted to record them to put them to rest.
Yeah.
And I really didn't think it was going to get this like spotlight on it. I was kind of done with it, kind of glad no one listened to it. And then now a lot of people are like listening to it and, asking me questions about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just makes me glad that people liked that now, because I feel like I'm better now. So I feel like it gives me more confidence in the stuff I'm going to put out in the future. So it's good in that way. But I definitely feel like that, like, even the way I talk in it, like, I can't listen to it. It's cringy. Like I can listen to a set that I like just did, because I like to do that. I record my sets on my phone, and then while I'm walking home, I'll listen to it, because, maybe think of a little something new, you hear what worked, hear what didn't.
Yeah.
But I can't listen to my album. The only time I listened to my whole album was when me and my producer were editing it in the first place. Yeah.
Okay. No, I mean, that makes sense. And with the comedian, I gotta assume, like you said, you're just growing. Every joke, everything, you feel differently about something passionate. And I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I doubt Katy Perry would listen to "I Kissed a Girl" and just be like, "Yeah, I still feel that way."
Yeah, this slaps. No, that song is iconic.
This song slaps still. Yeah, sure, Katy Perry. Okay.
Yeah, Katy Perry, you're crazy.
As far as the podcast goes, there's one thing I love, and it's a good horror story. And for you, I'm wondering, do you have a gig horror story?
I mean, I have some horror stories in that I was sexually assaulted, but
Yeah,
I think you
no.
probably mean on stage.
Yes.
It's different. It's a different question to female comedians.
Correct.
But I mean, yeah, like, there's been a lot of sets that I've just bombed horribly. Like, I guess one that kind of sticks out is that, like, when I started comedy, I was 15, like I said, but I told everyone that I was 19, because that's the drinking age in Ontario. And I kept it, I didn't tell anybody, like, all the comedians thought I was 19. And then I kept it going for like, might have been 6 months, might have been a year. And then, like, right before I went on stage one day, this comedian came up to me and was like, "Hey, just so you know, I figured out that you're only 15 or 16 or whatever." I told everyone. And I was like, "Oh no." And then, like, 1 second later, I went on stage and definitely just had a horrible set. It was like so stressed. Everyone was mad at me.
They were mad because you were younger?
Yeah, everyone was so mad at me.
Oh, okay. Boo,
Yeah.
boo, young kids, boo.
I know. It's like, now I see that that's a weird reaction, but
yeah,
it was a weird time. It was 10 years ago. It was a different time.
Yeah. I feel like, my reaction would be like, "Oh, well, let's encourage this child because
yeah,
they're the future after all."
Well, yeah, like my boyfriend also started stand-up when he was 15,
Mm-hmm.
and we had some very different experiences. Like he was very supported, and everyone was like, wow, this kid is doing comedy. And everyone in Ottawa was like so mad at me. But the thing is, I did lie, but it's
Yeah.
also like, that's what teenage girls do. They pretend to be older.
Well, I would have been. I don't know if it would have helped, but I would have been like cheering you on.
No, that
So
does help. Thank
okay,
you.
of course, of course. But for the people at home who want to keep up with everything that you do, follow you online, where can they do all that?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Sophie Buddle. Buddle is spelled like puddle, but with a B.
Mm-hmm.
And Instagram, I'm Soph Buds, and my podcast is Obsessed with Sophie Buddle. And I guess you can add me on Facebook if you like to fight with Canadian comedians in the comments. That's mostly
Hey.
what Facebook has become. So, everyone's welcome.
There we go. There we go. Sophie, thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thanks for having me on. It was really
Of
nice.
course, I enjoyed this chat so much, and I want you to stay safe and healthy. All right.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye, Chris.
Bye.